What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop. In this episode, we'll be previewing the Easter Thursday clash against the Brisbane Lions. Let's get into it. Now, just quickly before we get into it, while you're watching this, I'll be in Bali. I'll be watching the game from somewhere in Bali. I'll find a bar and stuff, and I'll do some live streams through maybe halftime and at the end of the game like usual. It's going to be pretty fun, bit of a holiday, which is nice, but I'm going to still be posting my normal stuff for Instagram, maybe a little bit less, but yeah, as I take a little bit of a break. But don't fret, you know, the swooping never stops. I'll keep going, but yeah, just might be a little bit less. Also, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I can still see that about 49% of my viewers aren't subscribed. It just means a lot. I really want to hit 5,000 subscribers as soon as we can. I think we've hit in March, there was about 300 subscribers. So I want to keep that up. We need 700 or so more. If you know a Magpie supporter that isn't subscribed yet, let them know about my channel. Hit that subscribe button and we'll do a big giveaway at 5,000 subs. But for now, let's get into this preview. So we take on the Brisbane Lions, who are having a bit of a topsy-turvy roller coaster couple of weeks. They get smashed, absolutely smashed by Port Adelaide in that first game. They do a number on Melbourne until the lights go out. Then Melbourne kicked like 6 or something goals after the restart. But before that, those first 3 quarters, they were doing super well. I think they were up by 30 or 40 points or something crazy like that. And then the day before our game against Richmond on Thursday night, the Bulldogs do a number on Brisbane, and Brisbane just weren't able to capitalise on their forward 50 entries. Their defence wasn't able to stop the Bulldogs' onslaught. We got Jamara Ugle-Hagan kicking 5, Norton kicked a couple as well and stuff like that. Took a couple of good grabs, and it's a coin flip on which Brisbane shows up on Easter Thursday. Now, this could go one of two ways. We could get the Brisbane that played against Port Adelaide in that first game, and they could, not ruck up. We could be really dominant, and this could be a shellacking. Or we could get the Brisbane Lions that typically shows up against Collingwood, and it's reminiscent of the 02-03 Lions, where you're going to have Danaher kicking 4 or 5, Hipwood kicking 4 or 5, and going on and winning the game. But it's going to be interesting to say the least. This game is a big game for a few reasons. There's a lot to sort of watch out for, a lot of storylines. All this season has been just storylines, but the biggest one is this Ruck Dilemma and what is going to happen. I talked about it in my review on the Richmond game. I've talked about it on social media. What I think is going to happen is McStay is going to go into the Ruck full-time. I think that Ash Johnson is going to help him out. Billy Frampton is going to stay down back. We can't move Billy Frampton into the ruck. He is that key back, especially with no Jeremy Howe. If we had Jeremy Howe, maybe we can move Frampton into the ruck because he has done ruck work, but I just don't see it. Maybe defensive 50 rucks Frampton takes, but I don't want to see him move in full-time in the ruck because, they've got Danaher, they've got Hipwood. Even though they're not having good seasons, they're still good players. There's a lot of people on social media asking for Steen to come in. I watched the VFL the other day, and Steen, he looks like he's going to develop into a good ruckman, but he was just monstered by Naismith from Port Melbourne, and we can't just put him up against Oscar McInerney, who's just going to have an absolute field day. Look, we're a very good clearance side now, thanks to Tom Mitchell and reinvigorated Taylor Adams and stuff like that. So I know we're probably going to lose the hitouts, and I think we'll be working out kind of like what teams used to do against us when we had Grundy rucking. Grundy would get 60 hitouts, but teams will get the more clearances because you're rucking to Grundy. You effectively have 2 ruckmen in, going up against it for you. So I think that will be roving a little bit more to McInerney. I think McStay is probably going to lose maybe 3 of every 5 contests that he's in, maybe. But at least he's giving us that sort of contest. We should be getting first hands to it. Our midfielders should be able to dominate in the centre. I know they've got Lachie Neale, they've got Dunkley, but even with Lachie Neale, Dunkley, and all these other guys running through the middle, they still were able to be outclassed by the Western Bulldogs. They still were able to be outclassed by Port Adelaide. What does that mean for our forward line now? It means that we go into this game with a 2022 forward line minus Jack Ginnivan. I don't think Ginnivan comes in and plays. Like I said, watch the VFL. He kicked 2 nice goals, did a couple of nice things that chucked him into the centre a little bit. Has to get more involved, has to put a bit more pressure on, a couple of score involvements, but I think he needs 1 or 2 more weeks in the twos just to build that confidence up. Remember, he hasn't played since September last season, so yeah, he just needs to build his confidence up. I think either Reef McGuinness comes in and gets a full game in the seniors, or maybe even Tom Wilson. They're both really, really big boys. I think both pushing over 195 centimetres. Good forwards, you know. Tom Wilson, he just keeps kicking bags and bags of goals. Reef pops up. He pops up for, you know, 2 or 3 goals a game as well in the VFL, which is really cool. And he could be that sort of third tall foil for Myercheck and Ash Johnson. What I would also love to see, which I don't think will happen, but I would still love to see it, is Finn McRae to be our medical sub. Or tactical sub, whatever you want to call it. I know that's, you know, you probably have to get rid of a midfielder to kind of put it in. That's why they give us a forward like Carmichael who can push forward but in the mid. But I would love to see Finn or even Ed Allen just for that burst of speed, because they've been playing really good in the VFL. Even Trent Bianco, maybe any of those 3 guys who I highlighted today on Instagram, they've been playing really good in the VFL, and I just want to see them reward for their effort, much like Tom Wilson and Reef McGuinness. Now, how do I think this game is going to play out? Look, if Collingwood want to be, you know, premiership sort of contenders, we need to put this Lions team away. It doesn't matter if we get the 02-03 Lions or the Lions at versus Port Adelaide. After what we showed against Richmond, that, you know, that scrappy sort of football, but we won that, which, you know, fantastic. But we go up to the Gabba on Easter Thursday. It's a really, really big game. Awesome time slot as well. So we need to show the AFL world that we are here to stay. I want to start for Zip. This is the only sort of danger game that I had in my 2023 season preview for the Pies. I had us 4-1 after 5 rounds. This was the game that I had us dropping. So it's going to be really interesting because, you know, Brisbane around the ground match up well against us, and they're going to match up even better against us now that we're a Dan McStay short, we're a Darcy Cameron short, and we are a Mason Cox short. So we are 3 very tall players and very good players short. So Brisbane are going to sniff sort of blood in the water, and they're going to come and attack us really, really hard. In saying that, I talked about the midfield a little bit earlier. Brisbane rank number 1 in clearances in the AFL. So, you know, the midfielders are going to have to get on their bike to win that first, especially without Darcy Cameron or Mason Cox in the ruck. So we're going to have to do a lot of work, and that's going to be in a lot of team talks. But also, they're ranked 17th in tackles. They're ranked 18th in disposals per game, 18th in handballs per game, 15th in inside 50s. So they don't possess the ball a lot. They've had a bunch of really bad few games. Their midfield is stacked, and they do a lot of midfield work, rebounding from 50, clearances, and, you know, hitouts per game. But it's all their other stuff where we are good at that. You know, we are good at that sort of fast pace, lots of handballing, you know, running through the middle, that corridor play, going to the wings when we have to. We're really good at that stuff, especially like rebounding from 50 and stuff like that. We're also really good in the tackle department. I think that's where we need to beat Brisbane. I think that's where we win and lose this game with our tackling. If Brisbane get their first hands to the ball, which they're, you know, by all means, I think they will with their ruckman and you know, they're really good midfielders and stuff like that. Our tackle game needs to be up. We need to amass, I reckon, 65 plus tackles, just to kind of put that pressure on it, apply that pressure inside 50 tackles, you know, keep the ball. It might be a scrappy game. I don't really know what it's going to be like in Brisbane besides very hot. I think it might be a scrappy game if it's that sort of dewy sort of game. But yeah, I think that's where we win and lose this game. My prediction and big calls, I think Collingwood are going to win by 35 plus points. And my big call, Brody Myercheck's going to kick his 5 goals finally. That's my big call. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. This has just been my quick preview of the Collingwood-Brisbane game. Let me know if we're going to win, how we're going to win, if we're going to lose, is this a danger game? All your thoughts down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shakers. I'll swoop you later.